Hey everybody, this is D Hunter, bringing another action figure and sort of bundle set review. This is for the limited run Gargoyles Remastered Collector's Edition. This is basically the old Gargoyles Sega Genesis video game, and it was re-released and remastered for modern audiences. This is the PlayStation 4 version. Now these things went up for pre-order, hell, more than a year and a half ago. It was mid to late 2023 when you pre-order these things. I want to give a huge shout out to my boy VP Collection for hooking me up with this. Now, when this first went up for pre-order, I was like, I really want the exclusive NECA figure that comes with this, but I don't even have the ability to play the remastered Sega game. I don't have a console. I do my gaming on the PC, and there were options for the Switch, the Xbox, the PlayStation. Not to mention, this thing was crazy expensive. It was $175 to get this set, and that's without shipping and taxes, so best believe it probably broke the $200 range. My buddy VP Collection from Instagram, he's a huge Gargoyle fan, and so am I. We consider each other Rookery brothers. And when the set first came out, we were kind of looking at it, talking about it together, and I told him that I just couldn't bring myself to order it because it's honestly kind of a shitty figure. It's a video game repaint version of Goliath, and I do want all the NECA Gargoyle figures, but I just couldn't pay $200 for that stupid figure. It's just ridiculous. So we came to an arrangement. He bought a set, and he was going to buy a second set for himself and hook me up with a figure. And I traded him a whole bunch of figures, but the original deal was I hooked him up with a bunch of figures, and he was going to hook me up with this figure. To my surprise, he sent me the entire bundle, and that is super cool. Do not misunderstand me, the figure is sort of intertwined with the bundle. But thank you, VP Collection. It is much appreciated. Big time. This is going to be the rarest and most exclusive NECA Gargoyle figure, and unfortunately it might be the very last one. The line hasn't had a release in a long time. The few figures they showed us, I'm very concerned the line might be over and they may not be coming out, and by George, that Cold Stone figure better find a way out. I want that guy really bad. Getting a little off topic, let's focus in on this set, and let's take a look at the packaging. As you can see at the front, we have Goliath perched on top of a gargoyle. The irony. Disney's Gargoyles Remastered Limited Run. This was a Sega Genesis game, and I remember playing it when I was a kid. And it wasn't that good. It's probably actually a lot worse nowadays than it was back then because it's really dated, and even having a remastered version doesn't really appeal to me very much. So the front, Goliath, Gargoyles. On the side, Disney's Gargoyles Remastered. You can see the clock tower in the background. On the back, Rule the Night, Goliath. Collector's Edition includes a physical game, VHL clamshell case, which is the packaging, limited edition Goliath action figure, reversible poster, enamel pin, steelbook, and certificate of authenticity. And the other side, Gargoyles Remastered. Now it is sort of in the NECA Ultimate Figure type packaging. You can hear the Velcros open it up. And when you open it, the audio seems a little messed up. You could hear it kind of start to talk, but then it just sort of stops. But if I press on here,
1,000 years ago, superstition and the sword.
And yes, I'm going to go through this whole thing.
It was a time of darkness. It was a world of fear. It was the age of gargoyles. Stone by day, warriors by night. We were betrayed by the humans we had sworn to protect, frozen in stone by a magic spell for 1,000 years. Now here in Manhattan, the spell is broken, and we live again. We are defenders of the night. We are gargoyles.
Love the introduction. Hear the voice of Keith David. And I don't know, now it's just going and won't even turn off. Well, there it turned off. Oh my god. So, here is Goliath in the package. He is in his traditional purple coloring, but it looks like he has sort of cell shading or video game colors. Awesome. My Gargoyle collection is now complete, at least up to date, and I really hope it's not over. Now, in case anyone needs it, here is the barcode, but I can't imagine that will help anybody in any possible way. So with no further ado, let's open it up and check everything out. Alright, now that you got this figure and all the other stuff out of the package, here it is laid out in front of you. Now, I would love to sort of give this game another crack, but I don't have a PlayStation or an Xbox or a Switch. And you know what? I might have considered buying this thing if they had an option for PC, but they didn't. So let's take a quick look at the contents. As you can see, Disney Gargoyles Remastered Certificate of Authenticity. This is number 327 out of 575. And I'm going to assume they made 575 specifically of the PS4 versions, implying they probably made 575 of the Xbox and 575 of the Switch versions as well. If anyone else got this set out there, please drop me a line in the comments below. Let me know what number you got. Then we have this Gargoyles poster. You know what? Might actually hang this up. Oop, be careful. So, 994 AD, everyone feared the claws of Goliath. Today, nothing has changed. Old school pixelation video game. That thing looked like crap back in the day. I am curious what the remastered one is like. And here's a little bit more of a poster type setting. Disney's Gargoyles Remastered. And then, of course, we have the actual physical game. It's in an old plastic VHS style package. This is the physical edition. You can buy it online without a physical copy. Once again, some images from the game and from the show. Open it up, and you have what looks like a little VHS tape in there. Pretty nice presentation. Gargoyles. Open it up, and inside of here, you've got the actual PlayStation 4 game, a physical copy, pretty nice, and then I guess this is the Steelbook thing, and it's image of Goliath, and it is simply blank inside, so if you don't like storing your physical game in the other package, you can switch it to this package. And so now let's get to the main part, the action figure. And so here's the Goliath figure out of the package. He's got 4 interchangeable hands, 2 different heads, a removable tail, and removable wings. So let's take a look at him. It's Goliath, and he's done in this sort of purple color scheme, although the shade is a little bit different from what I'm used to. And he's got a bunch of sort of cell shading on him. You can see how dark it is underneath his arms. Looks kind of weird. Dark on the sides, his sort of stomach area, and then the back and sides of his legs. He's got the loincloth here, double jointed elbows, single jointed knee, talons on his feet, long hair that makes it kind of hard for him to look up. This is truly a collector's edition, collector's item, and a pretty cool variant of Goliath himself. And a closer look at his face and head sculpt. We have those little horns on his head, the totally straight, sort of blocky hair, mean expression. I like it. I like it a lot. I really like NECA's Gargoyle line, and I thought it was doing really well. So I'm kind of surprised to see it sort of stuttering and ending, if that's what's happening. And then, here's the figure, broken down as far as he can go, with all of his removable parts detached. Now let's check out his accessories. And let's start off with his hands. He has a total of 4 hands, 2 left hands, and 2 right hands. Here he is, with his first pair of hands. These are his fists. And here's his alternate pair of hands. These are his claw hands. They could be some grabbing, throwing, holding, or climbing hands. Now let's look at his heads. He has 2 of them, one with a normal expression, and one with an angry expression and the eyes glowing. Here's a look at his first head. This one has the normal expression. I absolutely love how NECA handled sort of the animated style of gargoyles and mixed it with a hint of realism. I think it came out wonderful. And here's this alternate head. This is the angry head. Has a screaming expression and the light up eyes. Now let's check out his tail. It is removable, but not that it's supposed to be removable, it just comes separate in the package. Gargoyles can actually not take their tails off. So it's pretty long, and it looks kind of like a pen at first glance. It is made of like a rubbery material. You can see little holes allowed to breathe. It has a bendy wire inside, so you can bend it, and it kind of holds the shape. At the end here, we have a little peg that's going to go, frankly, into his butt area, and it's also going to be hinged as well. Here's Goliath with his tail attached. As you can see, it goes behind him and it's pretty long. Now you could have it like this, pretty sort of vanilla or basic, or you can have it sort of winding around, all kind of different options there. Now that's one thing I really like about these gargoyle figures and their tails. It makes the figure really, really easy to stand up. You have a huge support in the back, so just take your figure with those heavy wings and just lean him against the tail in the back. It makes him very, very stable and avoids those stupid shelf diving onto the floor. Gargoyle or not, his wings will not allow him to glide out of a shelf dive. He'll just simply hit the ground. And while we're on the subject of standing up the gargoyles, let's talk about their feet. It is easiest to stand them up like this, when they have the toes on the ground plus the back talon, but that's not how they walked in the show. In the show, they were more like this. Put the foot about like that, and bend the toes upright, and that is how they walked in the show. They walked on sort of their, I don't know, almost tiptoes, not quite. Take both of their feet, do them about like that, adjust the tail a little bit, and that does add height to the figure. And gargoyles are very tall in the universe, and bam, that is the accurate way to stand your gargoyle. Now let's look at his wings. And this is probably the biggest complaint about the line, both by myself and fellow collectors. The wings, he didn't come with the right kind to begin with. It made the gargoyles releases kind of annoying and cumbersome from the get-go. These wings are his outstretched wings when he's flying, or, I don't know, sort of screaming, being very intimidating. They're made of a hard plastic. And there are so many different options of wings they could have. We could have the cloak or cape wings that sort of drape over his shoulders, and they've released some further options of those. But most people just want the standard wings, where you'd have the gargoyle just standing here, the wings sort of upright behind him, not outstretched, not folded around him, but sort of relaxed wings. Now these wings are nice, they look great, but they make the figure like 13 inches wide or something. It makes it really, really hard to have them all on the shelf together, because they're going to cover each other up, bump into each other, knock each other down. And if you have enough room for a foot width for each of the figures, nobody has that kind of room. So it kind of forces you to display the figures without the wings on at all, and that's not accurate. Most of them have their sort of cloaked wings at this point, but it would have been really, really nice if they came with something different initially. So let's take a quick look. Like I said, made up of hard plastic, but the sculpt is fantastic. You can see just wonderful sculpting on the inside of the wings that they have. I don't even know what the term is for these sort of things between the soft wings. It's got the little sort of hook at the top, little talon. On the other side, we have a dark, almost black color with some sort of gray shading, and then the purple Goliath colors on the top. It has a peg, which will rotate and be hinged with the figure. And then here's Goliath with those wings attached. I'll tell you the truth, he looks magnificent, but all those sort of complaints from before are very, very valid. You can't really have the gargoyles staying next to each other without the wings covering each other up, or staying so far apart that they take so much endless space. In addition to all that, when you put the wings on him, it kind of pushes the hair up a little bit and forces him to look down. That kind of sucks. You can see he's not looking straight ahead anymore, he's looking down. In addition to that, the way the wings connect, they don't last very long. And it seemed like the quality was getting better as the line progressed, but this is pretty much a repaint of the first figure in the entire line. Right now, the wings look great. But over time, my Goliath, my Demona, and some of the other figures, they get kind of loose back there, and they don't stand symmetrically. One of the wings will sort of sag down, the other one will stay up here, and that really, really sucks. I think they should have done a different way to connect the wings. The wings themselves, it's just a little peg here, and it allows for rotation. And that's great, but I almost wish they made it, I don't know, square shaped or like sort of hexagon shaped. That way you could plug it in and it would be stable. Then if you wanted to switch it, you could take it out, rotate it up, plug it back in, and it would remain stable. If any of you guys collect McFarlane DC Multiverse, check out the way the Hellbat armor Batman's wings are attached. That would have been much better for this. The articulation would be a lot different, but I think the end result would have been a lot more satisfying. Now in turn, the little hole here, if you put it in there and it starts getting loose, I know you could take a little piece of cardboard or something to sort of put in there with it and tighten it up, but you damn sure shouldn't have to do that. His wings are fresh and very stable right now, but I don't anticipate them staying that way for long. And people have had different experiences, but that was mine, especially with the original Goliath. Here's a look at this video game remastered Goliath figure with the cloaked or cape wings that came with the other Goliath. They fit on him just fine, but the color of purple doesn't really match. Now I want to check out the differences and similarities between this video game remastered Goliath and the original TV show version. It is 100% the same sculpt, same figure, same articulation, different paint job. So let's take a look. The main differences are going to be this guy has a more pink sort of shade of purple, and this guy has a much lighter shade of purple. The same face, same hair. The loincloth has more of like an animated look to it. Video game, cell shading. This guy has shading as well, but it's done in a more realistic type style, and his is more cell shading, kind of like the video game. As you can see under his arms, and his arms are pretty much the same all the way around. They both look cool, but I'm a sucker for the original version, although I feel like he looks a little bit too pale. Now that we've taken a pretty good look at the figure and his accessories, let's check out his height. From bottom to the top of his head, he's standing about 8 inches tall. And keep in mind, this is a NECA figure, so they're 7-inch scale, but gargoyles are much taller than men. And if you want to know how wide they are, the wingspan from one side to the other, about 20 inches wide. Wow, when I said 13 inches earlier, I really underestimated it. He is just too big for his own good as far as the wings go, and for his articulation. So, starting with his wings, they can rotate up and down, and they're hinged as well. And my thing sort of popped out. Remember the hinge? Ugh, I hate that sound. It feels like you're breaking it, but you're not. Oof, horrible, horrible. And then its head, it can rotate side to side. You can look up and down about that much. The hair with the wings on makes it hard to look up and retain that. Let me get these things out of the way because it's going to make this part really difficult. Okay. And now his head can look straight ahead, but with the wings on, it kind of messes that up. There is the 2-pack version of Goliath, which addressed that and gave him a better head. Shoulders on a ball joint goes out less than 90 degrees. Up, down, around. Mine is very tight, but it does go all the way up. He's got a bicep cut below that, and it doesn't really go back, but it goes forward all the way. Double jointed elbows go in about that far. His wrist can rotate, and it's hinged as well. Torso, he has a ball joint. Rotate around, forward and back. Another one is waist. Rotate around, forward and back. Not much forward and back here. Plenty of rotation on both. Between the two, it's still kind of limited, and I feel like he doesn't really need dual ball joints there. Although the more articulation the better, but they're both kind of on the weak side. Legs complete of splits. Ball joints inside of there. They can rotate independently against the ball. And go forward. I don't know, about that far, not very much. Go to the side, maybe a little bit more. Go out that much. Back, about that far. He's got a single jointed knee with rotation. And then his ankle, or whatever you want to call it, forward and back, tilt rock. And then, I guess his toes, forward, back, also tilt rock. And then you have his tail, which, like I said, has a bendy wire at the top, can rotate, and it is also hinged as well. Here's a look at this video game remastered Goliath figure with all the extras in the background. Check out Goliath in some different various castle dioramas. The one I used in the background of this video, the two on the left and the right, are Mezco 112 cloth soft goods Frankenstein castle doorways, and then the large doorway in the background is a Mezco Silent Screamers Golem doorway. I thought they worked good for a makeshift castle background. Very appropriate for gargoyles. Here he is in front of the old school Kenner's Gargoyle Castle Wyvern. I am so happy I kept this diorama playset from all these years ago. I used to use it as a Ra's al Ghul castle in my Batman action figure world. This thing does fold open, giving you more castle area for background purposes. And it also has an interior if you flip it around. Here's Goliath inside of the Kenner's Gargoyle Castle. He's definitely too big for it, but it still looks pretty cool. Here's Goliath perched on top of the old Kenner's Gargoyle Castle. I also have this older Van Helsing Dracula castle. A little undersized for Goliath, but he definitely fits in nonetheless. And then, in front of the Mattel He-Man Masters of the Universe Castle Grayskull. This is the one intended for 6-inch scale figures. This thing also folds open, giving you a large exterior and an even larger interior. I have definitely got my castles covered from our Gargoyle collection. Here's Goliath inside Castle Grayskull. He actually scales up decently in this thing. Here's Goliath in the recently released Extreme Sets Dungeon Cardboard Pop-Up. This is a dungeon or castle type setting. I think it is perfect for these gargoyles. It's very roomy and large. As I get more of the Manhattan Clan, this will be a great background diorama for them. Here's Goliath perched on top of a rooftop overlooking Manhattan. Now let's check them out next to some other action figures, starting off with some other Gargoyles figures. Here's the remastered video game Goliath next to the regular version from the cartoon show. NECA actually made two different versions of the regular Goliath. One was the first release, the single release in the entire line, and there was one which was from the Valve's 2-pack with Goliath and Demona. This one had an alternate head with better hair that doesn't get pushed by the wings nearly as much. And here's this remastered video game Goliath next to the previous video game version. Now, I believe the new one is based off the remastered video game, and the old one is based off of the original, sort of pixelized Sega Genesis game. Cool to have both. I do actually like the old one quite a bit. It's a very unique color scheme for Goliath. This new one here, I like his purple. Kind of reminds me of the show a little bit more than the actual show version, but that cell shading kind of turns me off. And here he is next to Thalog, which is a clone of Goliath, utilizing the exact same body with a different paint job, which we've seen them do plenty of times with Goliath. So they now have 5 different releases on this Goliath body. 4 of which are Goliath, 2 from the show, 2 from the video game, and 1 of which is his clone Thalog. Now they could definitely do another one, which would be the same Thalog figure, but with some of his armored pieces. I was really hoping they would get around all those type of figures like that, but NECA hasn't officially said the line is over, but with their release history as of late, it's sure not looking good. Here's Goliath with the most recent Gargoyle release, and it's been quite a while since this came out. This is the Detective Silver Falcon Broadway. And when they made this guy, I was kind of thinking they were going to make variants for each of the gargoyles, like Brooklyn with a leather jacket on, all kind of different possibilities, and seemed to be going nowhere. I was hoping the Gargoyles line would go deep like the Turtles line did, and NECA has not officially said the line is over, but I just keep hearing rumors, and the fact that they showed Coldstone, Macbeth, and Gabriel so long ago does not bode well for the line. Here's this video game version of Goliath next to the entire Manhattan Clan. Even the extended version that has Angela from the end of Season 2 and 3. Now replace him with the regular version of Goliath, and here is the clan. We have the folded wings for Broadway, Brooklyn, Goliath. Still don't have them for Hudson. I believe they were supposed to come out with Macbeth. And Angela doesn't have hers either, although I took my extra set of Demona closed wings and put on her, even though the color of her skin doesn't quite match. And let's not forget, Elisa Mazza is actually part of the clan as well. Goliath has officially stated that numerous times in the show, even though she's not even a gargoyle. And now let's check them out. Next is some of the villains. We have Thalog, Xanatos, both in his Steel Clan suit and in his business suit, the Steel Clan robot, and Demona. Now, there are so many other villains I would love to see them make. They were so close to releasing Macbeth, and I really wanted an Owen figure to go along with Xanatos. And I did get 6 of these Steel Clan robots. Army builders, led by Xanatos. Fucking lovely. Here's the entire NECA Gargoyles collection. We have a total of 18 figures. There have only been 17 releases in the Gargoyles line, one of which is a 2-pack, giving us 18 figures. And honestly, 4 of them are Goliath, 2 are Demona, 2 are Broadway. I'm really, really happy with what's in front of us and what we have, especially completing the Manhattan Clan, Steel Clan Robot, Demona, Lisa, Xanatos. It's all fantastic stuff. I really wish they went much, much deeper into the Gargoyle lore. There are so many more characters, allies, villains, civilians they could have made from the show, the comic spin-offs, etc., etc. I feel like the line died in its infancy, and that is quite a shame. I don't really know what the situation is. NECA has definitely not stated anything official saying the line's over, but I keep hearing rumors on the internet, although those rumors were around when the line was still cranking up figures. When NECA first launched the line, they said they were hoping to release 1 figure a month. And that was at least 3-4 years ago. And if they had stuck to that, we'd have more than twice as many figures in front of us. Now, they made all the main characters, and I really appreciate that. But my favorite character in Gargoyles is Coldstone. And that was supposed to be the next figure to come out. That guy was shown at least 2 years ago, probably more. Macbeth is one of the other main villains, and he was supposed to come out around the same time as Coldstone. And then Othello, which is Coldstone's original identity's son, Gabriel, was also supposed to come out, and I would have loved to have added those to the collection. Now, I don't know if it's poor sales, or if there's an issue with the licensing with Disney, or what, but they already paid sculptors to make those other figures. It'd be nice if they came out in one way, shape, or form. Next store exclusives, I don't know, something. Like I said, NECA has not officially said this line is over. Just a bunch of rumors and clickbait people trying to make videos saying it's over. And maybe it is. If it is, rest in peace. I love you, Gargoyles line. I wish there could have been more of you. I still have hope. I still really want to get Coldstone added into my clan. When I was originally watching the show, I always wished he would rejoin them. They teased it so many times, but it never actually happened. Still, if it is over, I'm really happy with what they made. And if it's not, maybe they're taking a little break. Who knows? I will say that all of my Target stores seem to have sent their NECA Gargoyles figures back to NECA. There used to be quite a few on the shelves, and they are now all gone at the nearby several stores that I frequent. So overall, I do like this Goliath figure. I think his color of purple or pink or whatever you want to call it, it's a little more vibrant, and I think I kind of like it better than the pale, regular version they made. And if this is the very last figure in the line, that definitely sucks, because it's not that great of a release. It's just a stupid paint variant of Goliath, and they've already done that plenty of times. So it's very bittersweet reviewing this figure because I love Gargoyles, I love this line, and I was really hoping it would continue and go as deep as the Turtles line did, or hell, even half as much. Like I said, if this is the end, not exactly going out on a high note. The figures they showed were so awesome, and this Goliath is really nothing special. It's the whole bundle and the whole package that makes this guy special. His accessories, 2 heads, 2 hands, 1 set of kind of annoying wings. Not that big a deal, but nothing that special there. I think even the original Goliath came with actual accessories, like the Book of Grimora and a jalapeno, that sort of stuff. This release could be better, but it's a collector's item, very exclusive, and the whole point is to get that remastered game and all the extra goodies. If I were to rate this figure, I'd probably give him a 7 out of 10. It's nice, and I actually think I like the coloring, the purple, better on this one than the standard Goliath, but he has the cell shading, the life accessories, all that good stuff. So this is D Hunter. Thank you for watching this video. If you liked the video, press like below. If you have anything you want to save the video, add it in the comment section. If you want to see additional action figure reviews from me, press subscribe. I do appreciate when you do that. Once again, this is D Hunter. Thank you for watching this video, and I'll talk to you guys real soon.